If you ask an NBA fan which team has surprised them the most this year, they'd be absolutely lying if they didn't answer with the Utah Jazz. The Jazz were supposed to be a tanking team, but as I'm making this video right now, they're sitting as a top 3 seed in the Western Conference with a record of 10-5. So how did they get here? What comes next for the Jazz? We'll go a bit deeper into the Utah Jazz on this week's Team Talk. Before we get into the video this week, I just want to give a shout out to everyone tuning in on the channel. Before last week, we were under 100 subs, and now look at us. As we continue to grow as a community, I just want to say thanks for all the support. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this. Links are in the description for the channel, Discord, other videos, all that stuff. Now, alright, let's talk about the Utah Jazz some. Last year was the final season of the Utah Jazz team that we were all used to. Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, some other Jazz reliables, they're all gone now. The Jazz had 11 players from last year's roster that were either traded away or weren't re-signed. So you know what that means though. This year they're running it with 11 new players who've never really played together before. This mixed with a front office whose goals were more than likely to tank this season, it was kind of a recipe for disaster. But this is, the good type of disaster. One of those times where you throw things together and for some reason it actually works. This is an exciting disaster for the Utah Jazz. The team of throwaway players other teams gave up on in hopes for a star, this team actually looks good. Some new additions to this Utah Jazz team are Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton, Jared Vanderbilt, Walker Kessler, Kelly Olynyk, Malik Beasley, Ochai Agbaji, and Talen Horton-Tucker. They have some other rookies that are kind of new as well, but you get the point. That's a lot of names, and that's a lot of guys that are just thrown together. Most of these guys have never played before because they're all coming from different teams. The Jazz made a lot of moves, but the Jazz now have a bunch of guys that didn't really get a chance to prove themselves on their other teams, and maybe it even made them mad that they were getting traded to Utah. People were giving up on these guys. But you know what that means for Utah? They now have a lot of guys that are ready to fight and prove themselves. They have a team full of dogs. Let's talk about Markkanen a little bit here. Currently, Lauri Markkanen is averaging near 22 points per game and 8 rebounds per game. This is up drastically from career averages of 15 points per game and 6.8 rebounds. Currently, Markkanen is improved in almost every statistical category. His field goal percentage, rebounds, assists, blocks, and point per game are all higher than his career averages. Markkanen came into the league with hopes of being a high-value prospect, and things didn't really pan out the way many people thought it would. He sort of was a letdown for Bulls fans, and with the Cavs, he turned it around a little bit, but he was never really seen as that go-to guy at any point, until he arrived at Utah. Markkanen has looked like the go-to guy with this Utah Jazz team. His game feels like he's taken things to the next level. Something has clicked for Markkanen with this squad. Whether it's Markkanen's doing or the system he's kind of placed in right now, it feels like this team is running through Markkanen. A week ago, he dropped 32 and 8, shooting 75% from 3 and 50% from the field. He didn't miss a single free throw in that game. With as well as the Jazz have been playing so far, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say Markkanen should be in All-Star consideration if he keeps this level of play up. And he should for sure be in the most improved talk as well. He really has stepped his game up, and it's elevating this Jazz team. Markkanen isn't the only player on this Jazz team right now that's been impressive. Mike Conley has looked great on this roster. Currently, Mike Conley is averaging a career high in assists per game. Conley's pick and roll game looks the best it's ever looked, and that's even with throwing it back to his prime Grizzlies days. Conley right now is creating around 19 assist points per game. Not assists per game, assist points. That's like saying, if we throw this guy on the floor, we're gonna get an extra 20 points a night, plus whatever he does for himself on offense. He's creating points for others, he's getting assists, he's doing it all, and he's really helping run this Utah Jazz offense. His value to the team is immense, and he's playing great basketball right now. When it comes to passing efficiency, Mike Conley is ranked 4th according to B-Ball Index. To get a sense of how Conley's passing has been elite this season, check out the end of the Hawks-Jazz game that happened recently. The Jazz were up 2. It was 100-98 with 6 minutes left in the 4th. Conley then checked back into the game, and less than a minute later the Jazz were up 10. That's an 8-point swing in less than a minute. Look at the sequence of plays that happen in that 8-point swing. Conley assists to Beasley. Conley assists to Vanderbilt. Conley assists to Markkanen. That's 3 assists in less than a minute. Conley is controlling the pace of the game right now, and this Jazz offense is flowing beautifully through him. Outside of Conley, the Jazz are getting contributions from other players as well. Clarkson has always been a bucket getter, and that has not changed this year. He's averaging just above 18 a game right now, and after that, we get a little bit of a drop-off in points per game, but the Jazz have 6 players averaging double-digit points per game right now. They're really spreading the offense and truly playing team ball. This makes them an exciting team to watch because you never know who's going to go off on a certain night. They can really come at you from any angle. It feels like they could run through whoever has the hot hand and just throw other teams' game plans off completely. And that might be why they're winning so many games. Kendrick Perkins had one tweet that was actually good for a change. Yeah, not a huge Kendrick guy, but read this tweet right here. This Utah Jazz team is everything that a first-year head coach could want. No superstars, which means no egos, just a lot of young veterans that want to show the world what they are capable of doing and that they can play winning basketball. Carry on. So, Kendrick Perkins is actually kind of right. That's exactly what this team is doing. They're playing team ball, which leads to winning basketball. Currently, the Jazz are a top 5 offense in the NBA, and they're middle of the pack in defense. Not a top defense, but they definitely aren't a bad one either. That is a great spot to be in for a young team like this Jazz team, and they are off to a really hot start on offense. So where do the Jazz go from here? If you're a Jazz fan, you couldn't help but feel great right now. The team is winning, they're playing fun basketball, and they have 14, possibly 15 first-round picks going forward. While the first-round picks could land some solid players through the draft, the power of picks is what they can land you through trades. Look at the trades they did themselves with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. Rudy Gobert alone, they got 5 first-round picks and players. The Jazz can play out a couple years, slowly evaluate who they think are key pieces going forward. Once they identify who they think is their core, they move on from the other guys, make a splash with the plethora of picks they have. They are set up for future success, and it only makes everything all the more exciting seeing success this early in their plans. While the goals of the Jazz fans or management may have been to tank for a top pick, really the odds of the number 1 pick are 14% at best. Yeah, if you're under that, I mean that's the best chance you could get, but you're not guaranteed anything, so play to win. It excites the fan base, and building a winning culture is a huge struggle for younger teams. If you can do that now and get wins and have a successful season this year, that just sets the Jazz up for so much more success in the future. While they did have a hot start, it doesn't mean things won't fall apart at some point, and maybe they're back in the lottery at the end of this year. That is a possibility. But you know what else is a possibility? The playoffs. If a young team like the Jazz could keep up this level of play and shoot for playoffs, maybe we see the Jazz making a move to improve the roster as early as this season. While I don't think it's likely, who knows what goes through Danny Ainge's head. Maybe he likes what he has on this team and he tries to take this rebuild from 0 to 100 in one season. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, but I also don't think I've really seen a team surprise people the way this Jazz team has. All in all, I'm rooting for the Utah Jazz, and you should be too. They're a fun team, and you can't help but pull for this group of outcasts that other teams gave up on. Alright guys, that's it for me today. Let me know what you think about the Utah Jazz. Will they be a playoff team at the end of the year, or will they eventually embrace the tank if things start to go south a little bit? Also, what do you guys think about the guys on this team? Markkanen, Sexton, Clarkson. Give me your thoughts on their roster, who you're high on, who you're low on. Let me know what you think. As always, do not forget to like and subscribe. It helps a lot being a smaller creator like myself. And alright, that's it for me. Peace.